Hello everybody, Low Battery here with the new show, Women Locked Up, Before and After, and I hope everybody is gonna like this show. I think there's gonna be a lot to get from this. A lot of people, especially women, this is mainly for women, but I'm sure there's men out there too, you know, that have the same issues and stuff. But I actually was I got the idea of it and was inspired to do this because I started watching that After Prison show that Joe Guerrero has on YouTube, and that's what actually got me really wanting to do this. And I knew after I sat there and watched several clips and videos and his new rap video and all that stuff, just everything, I started just saying, you know what, there needs to be one out there for women. And there's documentaries and stuff like that, but there's not anything out there that will actually in general help women, like, you know, with anything they need help with. Like if they're just now caught a charge, if they've never been locked up and they're facing time, if they've been in prison or jail and want to talk about things and share things, whatever. And that's why I started this, and I think it's really gonna help some people, and that's what I want to do. I want to be able to give back. Okay, like I said, this video is my story. That's why I'm making this video right now. And okay, I'm gonna start with, my charge was a cocaine sale charge. That's what I got sentenced for. That's my original charge, cocaine sale, and I caught it in 2005, which was originally would have been 2 cocaine sales and 1 hydrocodone sale. I'll get to that in a minute, but right now that's what I was going, pretty much done. If you count jail time, prison time, and street time, I done almost 10 years on papers and everything. It was just a wreck. Anyway, okay, sorry, let's go back to 2005 when I caught my charge. I didn't go to jail that day. I didn't even know it even was happening. I was staying with a friend. Let me say this, so-called friend, because that's who you always think is your friends. The ones that get you in trouble are always your so-called friends. Okay, well, I was staying with a friend of mine, and he had a girlfriend that stayed there with us. I was just staying there because I had nowhere to go at the time. I was pretty much here, there, whatever, and yes, I had an addiction to prescription pain pills, hydrocodone, and if I couldn't take hydrocodone, I couldn't find them, I'd take Percocet or oxycodone. But I would never take the big stuff like Oxycontin and stuff. I only took Percocet or hydrocodone. Like, I didn't take all. Anyway, I've never smoked crack. I've never done any hardcore stuff. The only thing I've ever done was painkillers. Of course, I take nerve medicine, but I'll take that because I have panic attacks, stuff like that. But I mean, that's something that I'll have to deal with for a long time, and they do counseling and stuff for the place I go to anyway. Okay, let's get back to where I was. My charge. I was staying with a friend of mine, and I just happened to. I was having a hard time, and didn't have any money, and didn't know how to get any, and it was a really, really rough time for me at that moment. And he had been telling me for a couple of days, why don't you, I'm telling you, if you do this, you can get some money out of it. He wanted me to sell some powder for him, cocaine, and I kept telling him, I was like, no, I can't get into nothing like that. I thought I wouldn't even know where to start and even try to do something like that. And he's like, it's not that hard. You know people. He said, you know the same people I know. And I said, I know, but it's, man. And I even started thinking about it, and I said, no. I thought about it some more. Well, one morning, he got up. She was done gone. I don't even know where she went. But anyway, that next morning, I was going through withdrawals. It was my second day of withdrawals of my, I was taking, at the time, they was calling it Lortab. Now it's like Norco or something. Well, I was going through withdrawals, and I didn't have no way to get no money. And that's when I gave in. I said, I tried to catch him before he walked out the door to go to work. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, no, not really, but I'll do it. He said, well, just make sure he said, you sell this, you get half the profit, which I would have got $60 by selling $120 worth, which is, I think, what they call an 8-ball, which I'm in Mississippi. Everybody calls everything different names. But anyway, I got the stuff from him. He had it in a little bitty baggie, and I didn't know what to do with it. My first thought, I seen people do it before. I stuck it down my bra or whatever. So anyway, I called this guy up after he went to work. I called this guy up that he actually deals with himself too, but actually I introduced him to my friend that I was staying with. I knew him before he did, which he was supposed to be my friend. Yeah, this was messed up. But anyway, I called him up. His name was Jimbo. I'm not saying no last names or nothing like that. I'm just gonna say Jimbo. Well, I called Jimbo up and said, you know, anybody wants to buy any powder? I didn't even know what to say. Oh my God, I was like, I mean, I really, tell you the truth, I really don't remember how I said it to him, or how I really come out and said it to him on the phone, but I asked him, and he said, yeah, I need some. So he came over there, and I still remember when he pulled up, I was nervous. I was a nervous wreck. I mean, nervous as I don't know what. I remember looking around and like being really nervous, like someone was watching me the whole time. There's a reason why I felt that way, and you'll find out in a little bit. Well, I told him when he pulled up, I was like, I got $120 worth right here, and I got, I need to get it all now before he gets off work. And he's like, well, I got 60 right now, and I'll bring you back the other 60 later. And I trust him because, I've known him for a long time. Well, he left. I never saw him again that day, but, like I said, I didn't go to jail then. Well, there was another occasion. It was like a few days later. It was these two things that happened were only not even a week apart. They was like 3 or 4 days apart. This other thing that happened. I'm telling you this because it's going to add up to what I'm going to tell you how I found out I got charged. God, this messed up. But anyway, I was at my friend. He had another trailer. It was on up on the hill. He had 2 of them. And I didn't know that he had a bunch of stuff going on as much as he did. I knew he sold stuff and everything, but I didn't know he had this other, might as well say, undercover operation going on or something. But anyway, he was up there on the hill, and that Jimbo guy pulled up, which I was on the phone. It was an important call or something, I don't know. It had been important because all I did was say, when he pulled up, he asked for my friend. Excuse me. And whenever he asked for him, all I did was look at him funny. I gave him a dirty look, and because I was on the phone, and then I hollered at him and told him to come out there. That's all I did that day. I didn't have no association with that, whatever happened that day at all. Okay, well, come to find out, let's see, I can make it to where you understand a little bit better. Let's see. Well, okay, again, like I said, I didn't get busted then. It was like a year and a couple of months later, or maybe right at a year, I'm not sure, I got served with a secret indictment. They came out and arrested me at the trailer that we were staying in where I sold it at. They came and arrested me. I had pain pills on me. I had literally just got a whole bunch of them, and there were so many of them I couldn't get them in the bottle, and I was actually trying to put them up when I heard a bunch of gravel sound, like a bunch of cars pulling up. I was like, oh my God. And I already knew right then. I mean, I knew something was up when I heard that sound. And sure enough, I barely looked out the blind, and I seen like freaking 6 cop cars out there. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do with these? I got these freaking pills. But the bottle wasn't that old, because I just got some from the hospital, because I was like a week before that, which they used to call hospital hopping or doctor shopping, whatever. That's what I done then, because I had my addiction, But anyway, they came swarming in and came banging on the door, and I was trying to figure out what to do with the pills. But I knew that if I got rid of some of them, I could keep them if something happened, because the bottle said so many on it. But I didn't know how many I had in there, because I was trying to cram them in the bottle. And all I could think of at the time was just throw them up there in the cabinet. The ones that I got out, I just took some out and threw them in the cabinet. Okay, well, they come busting up in there and was asking me questions. I tell you the truth, I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't remember what all they said to me, because it was a blur. Because I was scared to death when that happened. I was scared to freaking death. All I know is that they came in there and told me that they would serve. I had an indictment out, or an indictment on me, or for my arrest, or something like that. Because when something like that's going on, you don't really, I mean, I don't know if you're like me, I don't even remember everything that's going on. I'm like just really scared and freaking out. But anyway, they was actually looking through the cabinets and stuff, and see, when I took them pills out of that bottle and was trying to hide them, I put them in one of those cabinets. They was looking through the cabinets, and I was like, oh my God, please don't find the pills, please don't find the pills. Well, they didn't find the pills, but they found my freaking bottle that had the most of them in it. I literally just got a whole bunch of them, and that sucks so bad, because at the time, for me, not now, but at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, because guess what? The bottle that I was trying to get the pills out so I could maybe hopefully have the same amount in the bottle or less, so they wouldn't take them. I had 4 more than what I was supposed to have, and they took the bottle for evidence, so that I had too many in the bottle. They didn't charge me with that or nothing like that, but anyway, they arrested me, but when I got to the jail, they told me I was under investigation. That's another thing I'm kind of blurry on, because all this started in 2005, and I was really, really deep into a really deep addiction to pain pills. Sorry. And but my addiction was so bad for so many years, and there's a lot of things that I don't remember. That's why I'm gonna try to tell this story the best I can, because that really messed me up. But anyway, when I got to the jail, they told me they needed to talk to me and all that kind of stuff. But I kept hearing from other inmates in their inmate.com that they needed to talk to me, because that I need to know what to say when they call me out. They're going to try to get me to rat and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, I ain't ratting on nobody. They might as well hang that up. That's something I do not do. I ain't getting killed. I ain't trying to rat on nobody, nothing like that. But I'm not going to, I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to take no freaking 10, 15, 20 years for somebody, that's for sure. And I'm not even in that game no more anyway. And I sure wouldn't do it. But anyway, I got up there. I sit there probably, trying to remember how long I sit there. About 3 days, 72 hours. No, it was over 72 hours, because I remember saying that they told me when they arrested me that they could only hold me for 72 hours. It was like 76 hours I stayed. And they called me out into a room and was asking me questions about that guy I was staying with, asking me who comes there and all kind of stuff, and if I knew who he was selling to and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, look, all I did was stay there. I had nowhere to go. I was just staying there because I had nowhere else to go. I don't know. I said, what he does, I said, he might have done it and he might not have done stuff. I have no idea. I said, all I know is I was just staying there. I had nowhere to go. And they walked outside the room for a minute. It's 2 investigators, which one of them now is the sheriff here. What a coincidence. That was back then, and now he's a sheriff. He was an investigator back then. Then he quit. Then he became investigator again. Then he's the sheriff. This town's corrupt. I'm gonna tell you that right now. My town is freaking crooked. Our cops are crooked around here sometimes. Depends on like who it is, I guess. There's some good ones, but there's some bad ones too. Anyway, well, most of the county ones I went to school with, the city ones, I don't know them. But anyway, let me get back to my story. Try to wrap this up a little bit more, because I got more to say. Let me look at my notes here, that way and get me on track. But they did talk to me, and they went outside that room, and I could hear them talking, saying, okay, you're a woman, and you know somebody's talking about you, when you keep hearing she, you can hear that in the sound of the person's voice, the she, whatever, you can hear that. I mean, that's something you can hear very clearly. If it's pronounced with sh. like that when somebody's talking. Anyway, I knew they was talking about me out there. They was trying to think of something to do and come in there and try to get me to crack, I guess. And they come back in there again and said, I tell you what, excuse me, I'll tell you what, he said, we'll try to get your sentence lowered. Wait, I said, wait a minute, what do you mean sentence? I didn't know I was charged yet. He said, that's not what I'm saying. He said, you're gonna get something out of it. If it's probation or something, you're gonna get something out of it because, you know, we got proof. I said, what do you mean you got proof? I said, I didn't know nothing about anything then. All I know is, at the time, they kept asking me this, asking me that, and I said, I just told you, I don't know anything about anything that goes on there. All I know is I stay there, and I have nowhere else to go. I mean, I'm just staying there. He's letting me sleep in a room there, and that's it. And I have to, sometimes I get to eat there, if they have food or whatever. Most of the time, I pretty much didn't eat that much, because of my addiction or whatever. But anyway, I guess they found out they couldn't hold me, and they let me out. And I actually do remember some people saying I was snitching because I got out, but they found out too also who it was that investigated me, and they knew right then that that's how they are. But I was like, why would I snitch? I mean, I can't stand that. People talk about somebody, people talking about, I cannot stand gossip. In jail and prison they call it inmate.com, whatever, but anyway, I got to go home that same day, but it was like 2 hours after I talked to them that finally let me go. Okay, excuse me. I'm trying to remember y'all now. I remember I had a bad memory then. I'm trying to get from between that to the part where I'm trying to get to the most so I can get this going faster, because that was a bad time for me, and I wish that wasn't going on then. That would have never happened if I wouldn't have had an addiction, but you know, things happen. But anyway, I think it was probably 6 months later is whenever I had a constable. I don't know if it was a constable or a sheriff. I think it was she was the sheriff, not the sheriff, but she was the one that served papers. And I had papers saying that, and I got them somewhere. I'll find them one day. They're probably buried somewhere in paperwork, somewhere in a box. Excuse me. But yeah. Anyway, I got papers saying that I had to go to court over cocaine, 2 charges of cocaine sale and 1 hydrocodone sale, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember selling any pills, and I sure don't remember selling cocaine 2 times. Well, okay, they tell me that I had a court-appointed attorney, and I could contact him to find out further stuff, any information I need to know. Well, I contacted this man named Lewis Holliday. That was my court-appointed lawyer, which, if he wasn't court-appointed and was paying for him, he's a really good one. But court-appointed, no. He don't do nothing. You just put your court date off and off and off and off and off and off. Pretty much you'll be sitting, if you're in jail, you're screwed. because he'll keep putting it off, and you'll be sitting there and sitting there and sitting there, unless you have people out there that will actually help you. And I didn't. Well, anyway, I got a hold of them, and I called the lawyer, and I remember that day, and I'm sure my sister, when she watches this video, she remembers that day also. She might even remember more than me, but I remember very clearly what he said to me on the phone. And I told him, I called him up and I was like, I was told that you're my court-appointed attorney, and I was wanting to know what's going on, because they're trying to tell me that I've got 2 charges of selling cocaine and hydrocodone sale, and as far as I'm concerned, I only have 1 sale of cocaine. He said, yes, you do. Actually, I just got your paperwork or chart or something like that, or I'm not sure, your files or something like that. And he said, yes, and there's evidence. And I said, evidence of something I didn't do? He said, yes, ma'am. I said, well, can I see it? He said, do you really want to see yourself on camera? Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here thinking, what in the world is this man talking about? What do you mean, on camera? I know what I done myself. Well, my sister went with me that day. April, I'm talking to you when you watch this. Me and her went up there and we watched the videos. That day was on camera that I sold that. The guy that was supposed to be my friend, the other friend, not the one that I was staying with, the one that I sold it to, that was supposed to be my friend, had me on camera. It looked like it was in the passenger seat of the car, because I was over here at the driver's seat. There was no audio. Oh yeah, by the way, supposedly they had the audio, but they couldn't find the tape, or whatever. I guess then it was a tape. But they couldn't find the audio on that one, but they had the video with no sound. And I seen that one first. And you could see how nervous I was that day. I was looking around and everything, like freaking out and stuff, but you can see me putting it in, or taking it out of my bra and handing it to him, but you can't see what it was. You can just see me taking something out of my bra. Well, anyway, he said, I said, well, you said there's another one. He said, yes, ma'am. I got it right here. Let me get it. So he gets the other one, and he puts that tape in there. These are VHS tapes. Anyway, he puts it in, and he's like, okay, here's this one. And start watching it, and I'm sitting there just going like this, you know, checking it out. I'm like, oh my God, I remember that day. He said, yes, ma'am. I was there thinking, really? Anyway, I watch it, and I was there looking. That day that I told you that I was walking around and the guy pulled up, that same guy, guess what? He was on camera too that day. And the messed up part is, we watched that video. See, this, I'll say that next. Hold on. But that guy was on video too. He put him on video. I watched that one. That one had audio too. That had all sound, and that one had sound and video, whatever. Excuse me. But the thing is, the bad thing is, was that guy, he was on camera with it all. When he handed it to him, he put it in his hand. He had his arm on. Actually, you know what? The messed up thing is, when I was watching the video, it made me think back to that day, to where I remember he was on the phone when he pulled up and asked for my friend. I remember he was on the phone that day, and but he was on the phone saying, he said that he was on the phone with his wife that was with his mom in the hospital, that she was bad sick, but we didn't think nothing of it. Like I said, I've known that dude for a long time. Thought he was my friend. Wow, boy, was I wrong. Anyway, I was sitting there watching it, and the longer I watched it, the madder I got, because I was sitting there realizing that they're sitting there telling me that I've got these charges, but yet I'm just in the background walking around on my phone. You can't hear what I'm saying. I don't even remember who I was talking to or nothing. I just know that I was on the phone. I had a flip phone. There wasn't no Androids then. I don't believe in 2005 there was any Androids. Anyway, point is, I had a flip phone then. Yeah, there wasn't no Androids then. I don't remember when they actually came out, but anyway, all I was doing was walking around in the background, and what was the strange part is that while I was walking back and forth, a few times you'd see me every now and then while they was sitting there talking, walking back and forth. He was sitting there making the deal with him, but like I said, when he handed him the coke, he literally kept it in his hand. When my friend gave it to him, he kept it in his hand, and he had his arm like on the windowsill right there, like it just hanging it there, but he didn't see him. He had his hand holding the little baggie right there, like that right there, the whole time. He couldn't see that part because he had his arm just hanging on the arm, or on the windowsill thing. But you can see that the camera was pointing right at that the whole time. Okay, while he was on the phone, that's how I knew that he was on the phone with the law. Whenever he was on the phone, he was sitting there talking, but I could realize, I realized while he was talking, he didn't make any sense a few times, several times he didn't make no sense. And he was saying, yeah, I do need to move up there, or I might even need to move down south. Like he was trying to tell, they was trying to tell him which way to move, back and forward, like left, right, forward, back. Because the whole time he's sitting there still holding that, and it's still showing it there, and they're trying to get him to move back and forth. He went on the phone with his wife, or girlfriend, whoever she was at the time. I think it was his wife. But he went on the phone with her. He lied to us that day. He was on the phone with the freaking popos. Whatever you want to call them. Police. Pigs. Whatever you want to call them. But he's on the phone with them the whole time. And he's sitting there holding that with the camera right there on him. And I never seen nothing when he pulled up. I mean, I could have sworn I looked right in there whenever he asked if he was there. And anyway, like I said, he was moving back like this and doing different stuff while he was on the phone with them. You can tell he's on the phone with the cops or whatever when he done that, but whatever. Point is that I did not do anything in that video. And I didn't think about it then because my addiction got me messed up in a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Oh my gosh. If I wouldn't have had an addiction, that would have never happened. I'll tell you that right now. Because I would have been staying there in that place. And none of that would have never happened. I mean, addiction will get you. And that's going to be another part later on in the show and everything. I got a lot. That's why I said I got a lot to talk about. A lot of stuff that I would really, 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 really want to talk about. But I'm really trying to wrap this up a little bit more because this video is going to be forever if I don't. Actually, it's only, as I speak, 34 minutes and 2 seconds. But anyway, I'll get back to that. Okay, I watched the video and I realized that I didn't do anything on that one, that I wasn't guilty. But yet they kept telling me that they had audio. That's what it was. They had audio on that. No, it wasn't audio on that one. I mean, there was audio on it, but not on me. But they just kept saying that they could still get me for that or something. I think they're playing mind games with me. Plus, like I said, I was in my days of addiction, and they was really strong. Very, very strong. And I had no willpower, and I couldn't think straight to be able to really think about these things and figure it out and stuff. All I was trying to think about was for my next so many pain pills I was taking at the time. I mean, you know what I mean? That's what's bad. All that stuff was going on, and I could have actually fought it. When it came down to it, and I actually finally went to court, like where they sentence you, court, with that grand jury, whatever you can call it. And I remember they was trying to do the plea bargain thing with me, which I did do the plea bargain. And now that it's too late and everything's said and done and over with and everything, I wish that I would have been thinking correctly at the time. I would have actually fought that, because I actually could have got out of all three of them. Because first of all, they never found the audio on the first one, so they couldn't hear me talking about cocaine or anything like that to him when he came to that trailer that day. And there was only me showing. It only showed me doing this right here. You didn't even see what was in my hand or anything. And it didn't show me handing it to him. It just showed me taking it out and my hand going towards him, but it didn't show me actually putting it in his hand. And everybody kept saying, "Are you kidding me? You could have got out of that." Okay, well, the other two I was talking about a while ago, that's what's messed up on that part too, because the plea bargain was they was going to drop the two that was together, the cocaine and hydrocodone, which was with the other guy when I was walking back and forth. He was the one that's selling those two things, not me. Why would I had friends that was saying, "Why would you sell hydrocodone when you're taking it?" I said, "Exactly. Thank you for saying that." I mean, really. And that's what I'm saying. They told me that if I pled guilty to the one by itself where I was on a video with no audio, that they would drop the other two. But see, like I said, if I would have been thinking correctly, I would have tried to fight it, because I could have got out of all three of them. Because those two that was together, that was on the hill up there, where that guy got him, that I wasn't doing anything. I would have got all that anyway. And the other one, they didn't have no audio, and there wasn't no proof that I really gave him. Yes, I understand when they get drugs from people, when they send an informant, if I'm saying the word correctly, to the location to do the setup, they take the drugs back to the cops where they're sitting at, and that's when they take them into wherever they put the drugs at and keep them for so long until you go to court and everything. But they seem to have lost stuff on the way too. A lot of things happen. But anyway, I went ahead and pled guilty, and I was so scared. Do you realize how scared I was? I was scared out of my mind, because I had nobody there to help me figure out what to do. I had nobody. My sister didn't know what I should do either, because she didn't know nothing about that. Heck, nobody in my family knew what to do, or knew what to say or anything, what I needed to say to try to get out of it or anything like that. But something clicked in my head. I do remember this. something clicked in my head that day in court. Something was telling me, one side was telling me, fight this, don't do this, don't get time. But another part of me was telling me, just go ahead and plead guilty. Do it. You need to do it. You need to take responsibility. Just do it. And I was scared. I was scared of my mind. I didn't know what they was going to sentence me with or anything. Nobody ever told me nothing like that. And, well, I pled guilty to that charge, and they dropped the other two. And the judge gave me 20 years, 15 suspended, 5 on paper. That's what I got first. Okay, now I can start kind of getting it, wrapping this up a little bit faster, because that was the main deal. That's how I got my first charge. Well, okay, I was on probation probably, say 2005, 6. I think 2 years. I'm not even sure how long it was, 2 or 3 years, I guess, before I violated. It was almost 3 years, I think, before I violated. But I violated. I didn't catch a new charge. I just violated. I violated what they call technical violations. They have a technical violation center now here in Mississippi, TVC Center in Flowood, Mississippi. Used to be on the grounds of Rankin County, Central Mississippi Correctional Facility. Sorry, but now they got it somewhere else off grounds from there on the prison ground. But anyway, I know that I got the probation and I violated it, and that was a messed up situation on that, because I wasn't meaning to violate. I wasn't meaning to do anything. Y'all, that's why I want to talk about that so bad. My addiction, I just keep talking about that because that's what got me in all my problems. That's what got me in everything that I've done. And my addiction really got me down to where I literally, I couldn't pay all my fines because I was using every bit of my money to buy pain pills. That's why I couldn't pay all my fines. And, well, I don't even know how far I was behind, but I was pretty far back. I'd say 8 months or more, maybe longer, on my payments. And that got me down for failure to pay, failure to work, and violated me. And I went to jail and waited for the woman to come. My probation officer was a woman at the time, to come up there and see. You have to either sign a waiver or not sign a waiver. You sign a waiver, you go down there and do your time or whatever. Or if you're on parole, that's in the state of Mississippi. I don't know about anywhere else. If you're on parole, they send you down there and you see the parole board, and you pretty much get to go right back home. But on probation, you violate, you're screwed, because they pretty much sentence you all over again, or give you more time. You might get lucky and get less, but it's not likely. But anyway, my addiction is what caused me to violate, because if I wouldn't have been addicted to pain pills, then I would have never done any of the things that I done. I done a lot of things that I'm not proud of, I'm not gonna lie. Why lie? That's what this show is all about. That's why I made this show. And Anyway, I was in jail waiting to go to court, or actually waiting on the woman. I'm sorry, waiting on that lady to come up there. And of course, I'm trying to figure out what I can do to get out of jail, and I didn't want to be in jail at all. And knowing in my mind, because an addict thinks differently. In my mind at that time, I was sitting there thinking, I'm going to get out of this. Surely, I'm not going to go to prison. Surely I'm not going to go to prison over this. I mean, because I didn't catch a new charge. But at the time, they didn't have that law out, that TVC, technical violation law. They didn't have it out yet. But anyway, I kept talking to that woman. I was literally talking her head off because I didn't know what to do. I hated those moments where I was right there. All I wanted to do was just get out and go home. You know, I just wanted to go home. I didn't want to have to worry about signing the paper or not knowing if I was going to go to prison or whatever. I just wanted to go home. And I didn't. She kept telling me if I signed the paper that if I waived my rights for a preliminary hearing, that I would probably get sentenced anyway, and I'd be in jail longer when I could actually speed it up and just get down there, and my time would go faster. And every time she said my time, every single time she said that, I think I sit in that office with her for 30 minutes when usually it only takes 5 minutes and you're out, because I was so scared. But I went ahead and waived my rights, and they gave me 5 years this time it was wrote differently or typed differently on my file. It said 20 years, 10 years suspended, 5 years to serve in the Mississippi Department of Corrections, 5 years on paper, probation, however they call that, supervised probation. So this time I was looking at, I still had 20 years in my head no matter what. But I knew that, oh yeah, and they also threw the restitution on me also. They went, and long-term alcohol and drug. So they put it all on me all at one time. The first time I violated, they put it all on me. Like I said, long-term alcohol and drug class, that's 6 months. Long-term is here in Mississippi, and technical the thing over there, restitution center, where they put the technical violation center now, where that's at. Well, I never had to go there, thank God, because my boyfriend at the time, he paid it for me before I got out, and I had to have a receipt, and I gave it to my case manager, and she's the one that filed it through and showed that it was already paid. I didn't have to go there. But I did do 15 months on a 5-year sentence, and then 15 months. But there's a process you go through whenever you're down there, and when you first get there, you're in yellow jumpsuit. Sometimes you get a 2-piece, but that's rare because people fight over it. What the fighting goes on up there, man. The stories I got to tell on that later. But not just fighting. Bloodshed. People passing out. People seizing. Everything. I got stories to tell. But anyway, the first time I went down there, I really didn't see much of the prison because I went to the satellite, and satellite wasn't that bad. Actually, the first time I done time, it wasn't that bad, as bad, because I had help. I had people helping me. My boyfriend was helping me, and I was getting letters and everything, you know. But I still done my time. But like I said, I done 15 months, and right before, it seemed like I wasn't getting my, what they call MET time. I can't remember what that stands for, MET. I will probably think about that in another video and I'll bring it up. I can remember it. And supposedly they took what they called, took the cap off MET time at the time, and it wasn't as long or something. And supposedly when you go in the door, as soon as you go through the gates, you get so much off your sentence. And they take some, I mean, they already took so much off when you go in, when you walk in the door. But I did go to Yellow Jumpsuit the first time. You have to get, every time you go, I don't care if you're going to TBC, I don't care if you're going to the Restitution Center, excuse me, I don't care if you're going to the Restitution Center, sorry, hang on a second. Excuse me. I don't care if you're going to the Restitution Center or any of them places, you still have to get processed, and you're still going to be in Yellow Jumpsuit until they come and get you. Now, anyway, what I was saying a while ago, I was in Yellow Jumpsuit for about 3 months. And see, before I went down there, everybody was telling me that I would only be in Yellow Jumpsuit for probably 2 weeks. No, I was in the Yellow Jumpsuit for 3 months before I finally got to go to Satellite. I waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. Okay, well, see, I wasn't that bad about going to Satellite because I'd done pretty much detox when I was in the county jail before I went. And I felt good. I actually got baptized and stuff in the county jail the first time before I went to prison. To let y'all know too, if you're wondering why I keep saying the first time, I've been to prison 3 times, and I'm not proud of it. Nowhere near proud of it. And there's, well, pretty much every time it's always been addiction. And I will be talking about that to y'all. Okay, y'all better be ready for that. I will have questions. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, I am gonna have that later on. That's pretty serious. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, what I was saying, I've done 15 months on a 5-year sentence. But what's messed up is that I worked my butt off on the Satellite. We was the ones wearing the green and white stripes with boots on the side of the road, picking up garbage with the litter getters, those things that grab stuff with the long thing with the claw. Anyway, yeah, we done that. I'll tell you something. If you're a woman and you don't know how, if you've never used a weed eater, lawnmower, or anything like that, you're gonna know before you get out. If you go to Satellite, you're gonna know how to do all that stuff before you get out. You're gonna know it all. Hell, you're gonna know how to do a push-up. But anyway, yeah, let's see, where was I at? Oh yeah, my case manager was telling me my time was coming up pretty soon. I done finished. Oh yeah, I got my GED while I was down there. Yes, I got my GED when I was down there in 2000. Actually, that's why I'm sorry, I didn't even tell y'all. I went down there the first time in 2009 and got out in 2010 at the end of that year. I don't remember what part of the year in 2009. It was in the beginning of 2009. Wait a minute. It was the end of 2008. Anyway, point is, well, you see the difference there. 2006 is or 2005 when I caught my charge, then violated so many years later. Okay, well, anyway, I signed up for house arrest because at the time you could sign up for house arrest at the Satellite. They don't do that no more, by the way. They don't let you sign up, even at the prison. They don't let you sign up for house arrest. Now the parole board, or if you have family on the outside helping you, like calling, if you ain't got no family working for, like doing stuff for you on the outside, you might as well hang it up, because you're gonna be sitting there until your time's over with, or maybe even when you flight time. And if you're gonna be there till you flight time, oh my lord, I feel bad for you if you can wait on your flight time date. My flight time date, because your flight time date is literally if you make it mandatory, like if you got 5 years, you don't take any time off of it. It's the whole 5 years. But anyway, I signed up for house arrest. I was approved for it, and I went home on house arrest. And all this time, I didn't know that I'm already made parole. I got my parole paper a month later after I went home. After 15 months, I went home on house arrest. Went to my dad's, because it had to be immediate family, which now I don't know if it has to. I don't think it has to be immediate family anymore, but I think it does have to be. It cannot be in a red zone. They call it a red zone. We have our red zones around here. We got hoods and everything, and they call them red zones. And well, if it's in a red zone, you can't stay there. But I'm not sure if it's, immediate family or whatever anymore. Because the parole board, they can put you on house arrest, or they can put you on what they call what's the GPS? That's actually worse, because that one tracks every place you go and everything. On house arrest, which I didn't care, because I've actually felt good for the first time in my life in a long time. When I got out, I looked for a job. I couldn't find one at first, but I was still on house arrest, and my house arrest officer told me to go to a place in Boonville, Mississippi, which is about 20 miles from here. You can get there about 15-20 minutes. And told me to go to Y Staffing. It's like one of them temp places where they help you get a job, but they get something like $2 an hour off of you or whatever when you work, something like that. But anyway, I went there. He told me to go there because supposedly he knew the woman at this factory called World Color. It used to be World Color, but it was Quad Graphics when I started working there. And I was still on house arrest when I started working. And he got my hours and everything for when I worked, to know where I was at. And he even told me, he actually was lenient with me. He said, I'm going to put you down for church time on these days and nights. That way you'll have some time, where you can be able to have a little bit of time for yourself. That way you don't have to, just be depressed. And he was lenient, not all too lenient, but he was lenient. And which I didn't mess up or anything. I was only on it for a month, and then I got my parole paper in the mail. Then they called me up there to take my bracelet off, and I was on parole. Let's see, how, I can't remember how all that went. Oh yeah, the parole one. The parole one is the one, let's see, I was on parole, and I flight timed off that charge or something like that while I was onto probation, possibly. Can't remember, but all I know is that eventually later on I violated again. Failure to pay, failure to work again. There was not a new charge, it was the same thing again. I've got all my papers somewhere. I got to find them things so I can know for sure exactly how they put it on the paper. But this time, I was on parole when I went down there. I was on parole, and everybody kept telling me, you'll be home by Thanksgiving. I can't remember what month it was. It was the same year. Tell me I'll be home by Thanksgiving. It was in the summer or fall or something. And Thanksgiving was only like 2 months away or 3 months the most away. I was like, you're telling me that I'm only going to get to go down there, I'm only going to go down there for 3 months and come back home? And they kept telling me, I'm trying to tell you, you won't listen to me. And then the people was already telling me, some of the inmates in the jail was telling me that yes, that's what they do. And so I went ahead and I signed my waiver. And see, everybody always tells you that. I never understood that part, because people tell you if you sign the waiver, then you just get down there and do your time and get it over with. Or because if you sign it, they're still going to sentence you, and the judge ain't going to listen to you. But I've seen stories where people actually got out of it and, you know, got better things and actually got released or something like that onto something else. But I never, I mean, anyway, I went ahead and just told them I wanted to go ahead and go down there. And so I went down there again the second time. That was when I was on parole, and I had to wait until I seen the parole board. I was only literally just going down there to see the parole board. That's what I was going down there for, but I still had to go to the yellow jumpsuit. Then, of course, I had to, when I first got there, they always make you get in the shower, squat and cough, do all that stuff. That's so gross. Oh my God. Anyway, I was like, man, I'm back in this place again. And, I was there about the right time, she said, but I didn't get to go home on Thanksgiving. I got to go home after my family. They actually cared enough to call and ask why I wasn't there on Thanksgiving. They was ready for me to be there on Thanksgiving, and I wasn't there for some reason. I don't know what happened with my paperwork, but I did get to go home after 2 or 3 weeks after that. But I still missed another holiday. I missed so many holidays when I was locked up. So many things I missed out on. I was locked up. So many things. My birthdays, so many. I ain't talking about my birthday alone. Family birthdays, my birthdays, holidays. Everything I missed out on. My daughter growing up. So many things I missed out on. I'm sorry, y'all. I need a cigarette. Anyway. Okay. Lord. Okay, well, I did get to go home, like I said, but it was a couple of weeks after Thanksgiving, so I missed it. Had to eat Thanksgiving in prison again, which was really gross. Always is. Mystery meat. Never know what meat it is. We always call it mystery meat. Let me rephrase that. We used to call it that, because there's no going back to that. But, yes, I got to go home, and I went home, and that's when I flight timed. Okay, yes, okay, I remember now. Yes, I did catch another charge, but they didn't pin it on me, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. I didn't go back. When I went back the third time, that's not what I went for. I actually set that out, and they couldn't charge me for it because they didn't put the hold on me until afterward or something. I don't know, it's technical, however they talk about that or whatever, or how they put it, but for some reason I didn't get charged with the petty larceny, but they violated me for it, if you understand what I'm saying. I don't know. But I wound up getting a petty larceny. This stupid dude I was hanging around with accused me of taking his pain medicine, which I really didn't. I mean, I really didn't take his pain. Actually, he used to accuse everybody of taking his pain medicine. I don't even know why I hung around. He's an old fart. I hung around with him because he had a way to go, and he'd help me out every now and then when I needed something to take, because he got some himself every month, and he'd help me out as long as because he was crippled, and I had to help him around and everything, and I cook for him and stuff like that, and all that. And a lot of people, that's another thing too, I cannot stand this, because there's so many people out there that really seriously still think to this day that me and that guy has something going on, and I don't even care anymore about that, because that's done and over with. That's the past. And there's still people to this day that still still bring my past up, and I can't stand it, because those days are the past, and I know what I done, and God knows what I done, and that's all that matters. But anyway, let's see, where was I? Oh yeah. While I was in there, let's see, I was on the run in between the second and third time. I went on the run because I didn't want to go back. Oh yeah, it was for the same thing, failure to pay. I remember talking to my probation officer on the phone, telling her I actually called instead of going up there, and she's like, if you're not up here in in the next, I think she said about an hour, if you ain't sitting up here on these steps in an hour after our lunch break, I will be coming to look for you. And that's what scared me. But you know what? I know now, but I didn't know then. But I was scared and didn't want to go to jail, which is, but anyway, don't run, y'all. That's another thing too. If you're facing time, just freaking do it. I know you don't want to do it. If you're facing time, just freaking go. Don't run. They're going to get you, and it's going to be worse when they get you. There's no point in running. I mean, there really is no point in it. I'm telling you, from experience, there's no point in running. Just freaking do it. Because all it does is prolong your time even longer, because that time does not count. Once you start running, that's when they violate you. And which I'm lucky they didn't put me down for absconding, because if they would have put me down for that, I would have been they would have had actually it would have been I would have already had what they call a RVR. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that. That's what they call it here in Mississippi. It's like a rule violation report, or where you violate, it's like when you're in prison and you violate, they write you up. Well, it's like one that you already get before you even get down there, and that's not good. You get one of them before you. But they didn't give it. They didn't do that to me. But I was on the run for. I went on that long. I think I was on the run probably. I'm not really sure how long I was on the run. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it sucked because I had to look over. I was always looking over my shoulder, constantly hiding. Y'all, listen to me. I even bought a wig. I got my taxes. Excuse me. I even got I even bought a wig when I got my taxes, and it was supposed to be, is it synthetic hair, or what they call real hair? I don't know, anyway, it was long blonde hair, and it looked really real. It was nice, but I didn't know how to take care of it. I never had no wig, and see, I had short hair at the time then, which I've had long hair too before. I've had really long hair before, but anyway, I went so far, and I was wearing hats all the time, toboggans, even when it was hot outside. I would put it over to about right here, and I would have it all the way past my hair to where I look like I wanted to try to look like I was a dude when I was in a car or something. That way, if the law came by or something, they wouldn't recognize me, because the law around here, once they know you, they know you. That's all I gotta say about that. I don't even have to explain it anymore. I mean, they knew me by name, which there's all different ones now, but they knew me by name. And if you're in the paper, like especially if your MDOC's looking for you, they definitely know what you look like. Anyway, I was on the run for I don't know how long, and it just really sucked. It was so miserable. I couldn't do anything for myself. There was days I was going through withdrawals real bad from my medicine when I didn't have it, because I couldn't get out and try to hustle for it and all that stuff, and which was something I hated doing. There's so many things. Again, and shows to come. I'm not going to talk about it now, because I just give it all away. There's just so much stuff to come. So much stuff to come. But I wound up I'm trying to figure out how that went, because anyway, I went to a friend of mine's or something. I'm trying to think back, and it's really hard, like I said, when you're in that state of addiction and you're on the run and you're not thinking straight, your head's not on right, all you're thinking about is don't want to go to jail. And I'm trying to remember how I got caught, or if I can't remember what it was, how I got caught. Oh, yes, I remember now. I was with a friend of mine, actually. It was that guy. I'm pretty sure this is what happened. I'm sorry if I'm pretty sure that's how that happened, because so many things, so much stuff happened in those years that because I was on the run another time too, before the other charge, but that one was like only 2 months, and my probation officer saw me going to the courthouse. I was trying to straighten something up. I didn't know I had a warrant on me that time, the second time, and they actually came there like they knew I was there and took me in or whatever. But anyway, yeah, that last time, I can't really remember. I'm sorry, I really can't remember how exactly I got caught. I know that it seems to be that we was riding through the hood, which is not a good place to ride. I don't care what time of day or night. And it shouldn't be that way, but it is racist. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that around here. I call it that way because, yeah, to the cops, when they say a white girl with a black dude going to the hood, or a white girl alone going to the hood, or a white girl with a Mexican, or like something like anything like that going to the hood, if they ain't black, that's what I'm saying. That's racist to me. I mean, whatever, but that to me, that's racist. But anyway, that shouldn't be a reason to pull somebody over. But they said that they pulled us over because he was parked. That's what it was. Okay, I remember now. My friend brought me somewhere, and it's been a while back. I don't even remember what year that was. But anyway, after I left that place, got in the car, they pulled us over literally right after I got in, and he barely went, not even probably 8 feet, I'm sorry, literally where he was sitting to pick me up, and blue lights, and they said I had a warrant out for my arrest, MDOC. God, I was going through withdrawals already, trying to get me money to get something for my for my withdrawal. At the time, mine was so bad, I was just taking medicine to get rid of my withdrawals. It wasn't to get high. It was just that bad. But, they got me. And what's messed up is the guy that was over there at that house was over there laughing on the front porch saying he didn't know me and he don't know why I was over there and that why I was even anywhere near their house, that I must have been crazy or something like that. I don't even know what was going on, but they was talking crap over there. I couldn't hear everything they were saying, but it made me look like an idiot, like he didn't know me, because they thought they was going to get in trouble. People always think they're going to get in trouble. All they had to do was say the guy's my friend, and everything actually would have been, well, if I wouldn't have had a warrant on me, that is. But anyway, moving it on, because I'm already done an hour and 15 minutes. Wow. Okay, I gotta speed this up. Okay, anyway, that last time I got time again. This wasn't just going to see the parole board. This time I got time again. And oh my gosh, was I so not wanting to go back to that place. That place is terrible. I mean, that place, Central Mississippi Correctional Facility. But in Rankin County, they call it Stinkin' Rankin. I know it sounds retarded, but that's what they call it, Stinkin' Rankin. It's in Pearl, Mississippi. And it's the worst of the worst women's prisons. I mean, I've seen documentaries here on YouTube, and I don't see anything that compares to what I went through in that prison I was in. This time I didn't leave the compound or nothing. Well, that 3 months I didn't leave either, because I was only there through the parole board that second time. But the third time I done my whole 15, no wait, I'm sorry. This time, the last time I done 18 months, because I counted, it was only 2 weeks before they sent me off. It didn't take long to send me off that last time. Sorry. Anyway, I went back down there again, but I had no A&D or nothing like that this time, but I had to get myself into a class or something. And I went into a program down there, what they call the 1A program. It's in a 1A building. I think that's why they called it that. But that was a really nice program that I was in. It does anger management, all that kind of stuff. It does it all. Anything you could think of, that class covered it. And before I was released the last time, I was about, I'm trying to think how, I only had a month and a half, no, not even a month before we graduated. And we were supposed to have anything, everybody was supposed to pick what they wanted to eat. We was going to have free world food and everything, which we did there sometimes every now and then anyway. That was a privilege for that class I was in. And it was a one class, but it was multiple classes. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Different things were in it. We would switch up in different rooms and have different groups. And it was really awesome. That was the best thing that I ever done, was that. Everything else there was nothing. I mean, it's like as soon as you left that place and go back to the compound, or not compound because it's still a compound, go back to the zone, because men call them pods, we call them zones. In Mississippi we call them zones. You got C zone, B zone, D zone, A zone, B zone, A, B, C, and D zone. A building, B building, C building. Or no, A and B building is for the women. That's another thing. Rankin County, they house men and women, but you don't see the men. The only time you barely see the men is if you have a clinic appointment, which is sick call. Fill a sick call out and you go to the clinic or whatever. And I never worried about none of that stuff, but I seen them girls the way they acted when they seen them men up there. mean, they act like they've never seen a man in their life, and the men act like they ain't never seen a woman in their life. I say that's crazy whenever they get in prison. Jail too. I've seen some bad stuff in jail too. Ooh, wow. I'll get to that one day. But anyway, yeah, I went down there, and this time was the hardest time I ever done. I didn't have help the last time. I didn't have. I'm trying to remember what year it was. Maybe I can remember when I come back on to the next show and maybe I can go back and look at my paperwork, and I can tell you about it whenever I get back on the next when I upload the next video. Anyway, I need to start wrapping this up. I've been on here an hour and almost 20 minutes. Well, okay, like I said, that's the hardest time I ever done. I know there's a saying here in Mississippi, I don't know if it's everywhere else too, but they say, you do the time, don't let the time do you. Well, that last time, the time done me. I couldn't handle it. The only thing that got me by was that class I was in God, because I had it rough. I had it really rough. I didn't have my medicine for my nerves, and that was really really bad on that part, because my brain wasn't functioning correctly, and I was constantly having panic attacks. I just wasn't myself. The only time I felt just a little bit relieved is when I was not in that zone with all them women. We was housed with 116 women in each zone, and anyway, I was there 15 months. No, I'm sorry again. I said that again. I was there, I think, 16 months to 17 months. Altogether, like I said, it was 18 months this time, because I was called on court order for something for my daughter. That's another thing that really... And it's still a problem to this day, though. That's why that didn't go away. That's still a problem. Before I went to prison the last time, I knew I was going to go to prison because I was on the run, or I knew I had a warrant on me, whatever. And a really good friend of mine, I let her get my daughter a couple of weeks before I was arrested, because I knew something might happen and I didn't want my daughter to see it. And sure enough, I was arrested, like I said, and she took it hard the last time, and I got a really bad letter from her, and it really tore me up. And just to hear hurtful words when you're in there and you're already going through a rough time. The prison is terrible. They got inmates run that place. I'm sorry, I almost cussed. I'm trying not to cuss in this video. Sorry y'all. But that right there is the worst, I'm telling you. Out of all the men, even the men documentaries, that place right there, the women run that place, the inmates run that place, the women do. Or animals, should I say. But all I can say now is that I got a letter while I was down there that last time telling me that my daughter had killed herself while she was at school or something. That's the first bad letter I got. And it really upset me really bad, and I wound up having to go to psych about what they call, it's in Max, but they have different things there. They have suicide watch. They got psychological evaluation, which is psychological observation, PO. And I had to go to it at least 3 times while I was there that last time because of all the things that happened. It was such a rough time that last time. But anyway, I got a letter also, not even a month after that, from DHS saying that they wanted to play what they call I wish I had my papers right now. I got every one of those papers that came from DHS somewhere. It was that they said that they needed to be a permanent placement or something like that. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I said due to my length of incarceration of 5 years, they thought I was going to be in there the whole 5 years. They didn't understand. You get 15%. I done forgot now. 15% off your sentence or whatever. How's that? Or 25%? I think it's 25%. Anyway, it's 15 months on a 5-year sentence. And anyway, I got a letter from DHS saying that they needed a permanent plan, or make a permanent plan, some kind of something about permanent placement plan or something. And pretty much they was trying to tell me that they needed to take further action and my daughter needed to be put in a foster home, or she would have to be in the custody of somebody else, period. I was already going through a rough time hearing about what happened with her, and she finally let out everything that she felt about my addiction and everything, and I got a lot of hurtful letters about that, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her one bit. She had every right to be angry with me. But she's still my daughter. I never done anything to harm her. Never have, never will. I always told her if anybody ever tried to harm her in any kind of way, she better tell me. And we would straighten it up right then. Because I would definitely do time for my daughter if somebody ever try to lay a hand on her. But anyway, yeah, they was trying to take her away from me pretty much while I was there. They kept sending me letters saying that they was counseling her, and that she was saying stuff that she didn't. I don't think she really. I don't know. I was just saying to myself that I hope she didn't mean what she was saying, but she was saying that she didn't want to stay with me when I got out. She wanted to stay there. And it was just a hard time, and that last time was just, I got really upset about that too. That letter, the first letter I got, I went right back to psychological observation again, which you're pretty much in a one-man cell. There's no air. When it's really hot outside, all you got is a window that you barely can get to crack, and that's the only air you have to come in. I'm sorry, y'all. All I know is that hurt me really bad. I had to have time to think. The guy come around from psych observation, he the one that is over the thing, and he was like, "Are you ready to get out now?" And I was like, actually, I don't know yet. I might need a little bit more time. And I don't know why I said that, because it wound up making me stay there another it was like almost another week and a half. And that sucks really bad, because I didn't want to be on the compound with all that crazy stuff that was going on there. But at the same time, I didn't want to be in there alone. I was going crazy. I was thinking bad things, and I was thinking about the things that my daughter said, and I was thinking about DHS and what they had in mind. Point blank, the last letter that I remember that I got that really, 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 really got me, I was already in psychological observation. And I got this letter from DHS. I had to go to court. And it was for them to take her away from me. That's what it was pretty much for. The MDOC woke me up at 2 o'clock one morning, told me to pack my stuff. And I thought I was going on an off-ground. They told me I was going on an off-ground appointment. But you always have to pack your stuff up, and they put it in storage. That's all. I don't know why. I guess because they've had to put you as you're not even on the ground, or not a prisoner or something. I don't know. Because I never went on an off-ground appointment. The whole time I was there, anytime. But anyway, found out when I got up there to the office that it wasn't an off-ground appointment. It was an MDHS or DHS. And I'm gonna say this part, and I'm gonna rush it up. They drove me there and drove me back in the same day. But when I got there, I hadn't seen my daughter in almost 17 months. Actually, if we count the time before I went to jail, 18 months. Okay, I know this thing is serious that I'm going to, but the only thing that I'm thinking about the whole time is being able to see my daughter. And hoping that these women, because there was 2 women that brought me in a MDFC bus or whatever. I was the only one that got brought. I was by myself with them. And I thought, being that there was 2 women and they would understand, they might let me hold my daughter or something like that. My daughter was there. I mean, when they kept saying that she was in school, but she had to be there, and that she was on her way. They done called, and they was bringing her, and I kept looking out the window, see if I could see her, in case that they didn't let me see her or something. But I kept watching cars pull up and people get out. I seen the vehicle pull up, but I never saw her until they opened the door. I saw her standing there on the door. I wanted to jump up and hold her so bad. So bad I wanted to hold her. But I couldn't. DHS, I think, they didn't really say anything about it, but they didn't say I could, didn't say I couldn't. But I think they was going to ask the officers. But do you realize how hard it was? I was in shackles and handcuffs. My feet were shackled. I had handcuffs on that had the thing on around your waistband, like this the whole time up to my hometown here, and all the way back. I was like that. But anyway, while I was sitting there, my daughter was sitting right beside me, almost touching, and they would not let me not even hold her hand, let alone hold her. She was so close to me, and I couldn't even hold her. I kept saying, please give my daughter a hug? I've not seen my daughter in 18 months. Could you please let me see my daughter? Or not see her, I'm sorry. Could you please let me at least just hold her hand or anything? They wouldn't let me do it. They wouldn't let me do it. They said, I'm sorry, it's against protocol. We can't do it. I said, could you just please have a heart? Please. I have not seen my daughter in 18 months. And my daughter, she was actually about to give me a hug before all that happened. And that's when they stopped her. And that's when I started asking and everything. And that's what hurt me the most, is when she walked up to me when she was trying to give me a hug, and they stopped her. And she couldn't even give me a hug. And I had to stop my rights over that day. They kept telling me, and everybody still tells me to this day, that DHS played me that day big time. They kept telling me that if I got up on the stand, I'd lose anyway, and all kind of stuff, and kept throwing stuff in my head that my daughter didn't want to be with me. But yet, that day that I was there, my daughter acted like she wanted me to be with me then and there. Sorry. But they just kept pushing me and everything, and then it was pretty much over with. And before she got up, she looked back around at me and wanted to walk toward me again to hug me, but they wouldn't let her. Do you know how hard that was? I mean, it was already hard that she was sitting so close to me. I could feel her body heat. She was that close, and I couldn't hold her, or even hold her and say goodbye again. The whole time she walked out the door, she was looking back and had that look on her face, like she was never going to see me again. Little did I know, I got out 3 months after that. 3 months after they took her away from me, I got out. And guess what? She's still in their care. They got custody of her, full-blown custody. My daughter will be 17 this year. When all this started, she was like 12 years old. This is what addiction will do to you. That's why I've been trying to tell people, don't go down that road. I've missed so much of my life. So much of my life. Behind bars, in jail, in prison, on the run. That stupid stuff. Because of my addiction. And that's why I made this show. So I can try to get out there and tell these people, please, don't do this to yourself. Please. Think about it. Don't let it go as far as I let it go. Don't. But I will tell you something. I got good news on this part. Even though I went through all this stuff, there's other stuff that I haven't covered. A whole lot more stuff. But I'm just trying to get all the stuff I can get out at this time. I've been on here an hour and 38 minutes now. And I'm going to try to get off here now because it'll take forever for this thing to upload and stuff. But all I want to say is, when I got out this last time, I was out doing good. They told me all I had to do was go to Living Free Ministries, and it was awesome. I loved it. I went to it, and I went and see my PO every month. Everything was going fine. I was paying my payments. I was behind one payment, but I mean, that was fine. Everything was going fine. And one day, out of clear blue, after like a year, I guess, or wait, I don't know if it was a year. No, it wasn't a whole year yet. Well, anyway, a woman called me up there. She wasn't my PO because I had a man for my PO this time. Every time you mess up, you'll always have the same PO when you come back or get out. And when I came back or got out, I had a different one. And just anyway, one day the woman calls me. She tells me she's like the boss or the supervisor or something like that. And sorry, I gotta stretch my leg out. But tells me she's like the supervisor or something like that over my probation officer, or all of them. I'm not even sure. I can't remember. I was just big shock that day. But anyway, I sat down and I was like really freaking out. You know, I'm talking. This person is telling me they're a supervisor and they're wanting to talk to me. I'm sitting there thinking, what in the world has happened here? And somebody set me up. Oh my God, you know, everything's running through my head. Oh my God, what's going on? And come to find out, and it really still hasn't hit me to this day. And that's been like, well, 2 years now, I guess. Almost 2 years since they did that. Well, it's been about a year and 8 months, possibly. I'm not sure, but she comes out. I think I can't remember how she exactly put it out there. She was like, do you know why you're here? I was like, no ma'am, I don't, and I'm really freaking out. Not gonna lie to you, ma'am. Anyway, she was like, well, there's been a mistake in the computers, and that right there freaked me out even more when she said that. I thought something was going to mess up, and he's going to tell me that something else came up, and I got another charge I didn't even know about or something. Like a secret indictment or something. And she's like, there's been a mess up in the computer, and I was like, oh my God. She said, no, listen to me. She said, there's been a mess up in the computers or something. I messed up. I made a mistake myself. That's what that woman said to me. So I made the mistake myself. And it's going to benefit you. I said, how was that? And she said, well, because of my mistake, you're free to go. I was like, what do you mean free to go? She said, you're all papers. I'm speechless, you know. I'm like, what? What do you mean I'm off papers? She said, you're off papers. The paper that we gave you 2 weeks ago said, matter of fact, and I had that right beside me the other day. I don't know where it's at right now, but my golden seal had my golden seal on it. And I knew something was weird about that when I got that day. But it didn't really say. It said discharge, but it was discharged from parole to probation. That's what that was for. And, well, she put it in the computer that I was released. And she said that she cannot go back and change it. Therefore, that's how it benefited me. It benefited me because she couldn't go back and change it. So, therefore, I was off. Free and clear. So, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies, I'm not on probation or parole or anything right now. I'm sure I'm still on the computer as a convicted felon. I doubt they erased everything. Be nice. But that's how I got off papers. That was a miracle that day. Because that day I was scared to death. I was actually crying before I went in there. I was crying. I was bawling my eyes out, thinking something was wrong. I was wondering why the supervisor was calling me up there to the probation office. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? I come out. I was like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this, not going to believe this. They're like, what? I'm off papers. They took me off completely. And that's the story of me getting off papers on an accident, but it happened, and I'm very glad. But as far as the addiction goes, I've been out, I guess 2 years, I'm assuming. And yes, when I got out, I did take pain pills, but I only took them for like 2 or 3 months, and then I started taking Subutex to get off pain medicine, and I've been off pain medicine ever since. That's my story. On that, definitely is a lifesaver because my life was going to pieces. I mean, I was going here and there and everywhere, staying here and there and everywhere, everything. I mean, that's other stories to come. I just wanted to get my story out there and tell how I got locked up and all that stuff, and maybe I'll think of something else that I left out or something later on. But that's my story, and I hope everybody enjoyed this, and I'm sorry for anything that, if I repeated anything or anything like that, I'm sorry, because I'm tired and everything right now, and I just wanted to make this video and get this out of the way. That way I can start doing other stuff, but I want to tell my story and how I got addicted, to pain pills, and that's what pretty much, that right there, that's what got me in all the trouble I was in. I mean, if I would never been on pain medicine, that would have never happened. But I got started on by my doctor. I didn't get on the streets and say, hey, I want to try a pain pill. But I'll get into that some other day. But thank you so much, y'all, for watching so much. And I'm grateful that I finally, like I said, I'm going one more time give a shout out to After Prison Show for giving me this opportunity to be able to talk about these things and get the idea to do this, that they inspired me to do it, and I want to thank them very much. So anyway, thank y'all for watching. Peace and love, y'all. Bye.